you keep putting in effort and it seems like everything keeps falling apart. It seems like the more that you try to put things together and it starts to seem like it works, a lot of things comes to like counter that. Everything that you are doing to put an effort in to move in the direction of what you want, it seems like there's things that happen to literally destroy that. And by this point, it has you wondering, like, am I being crazy? Like, is this stuff even real? Like, is it falling apart because I'm like, it's really not working? I'm gonna offer you 3 perspectives on what could be happening at this stage. Just hear me out. So, one thing that this could mean is you're actually on the wrong path. And don't freak out or anything, just like hear me out. So, the reason I say that is because you're trying to predict. Whenever you try to predict how you do things and you are trying to forcefully have something happen in a specific way, that is going to disrupt everything. For example, if you were like, okay, I'm gonna get $500 from somebody that I meet at the mall, and on your way to the mall, you pass somebody on the sidewalk and they're trying to like have a conversation with you, but you're just like so concerned about just getting to the mall because you know your manifestation's gonna come through whenever you get to the mall. And it turns out the person you just walked past was actually the person that was going to get you that $500 that you tried to manifest. But because you're so focused on it being at the mall, you're not realizing in the present moment how the gift of just being alive and being present and experiencing what's happening around you, that the way that life unfolds, the unknowingness of it, the experience of it is really, how things end up happening for you. But you overcomplicate your own life by trying to predict and control everything, and you keep running into obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. You're trying to orchestrate it so that it plays out exactly like how you want it versus it being literal life, where things do just happen and where things do just align and fall into place. Everybody just wants to feel good. You want to feel comfortable because versus the unknown, that leaves the opportunity for you to be scared that you're not going to get it. Which leads me to my second point. You're scared that you're not going to get it because you're seeing everything fall apart, but there are those times where it's not necessarily you being on the wrong path. Here's an example of what I mean. So when you're in the gym and you're trying to get swole, you're eating the way that you need to, you're being consistent with it, like you're not falling off of it, you're still going to the gym every couple of days like you need to, you're still hitting the same routines, working out the different muscles. And what's going to happen is your muscle's going to start to build because you're actually being consistent with it instead of falling off the path. That's actually all wrong, and none of that's true. What really builds the muscle is whenever you're doing this, you're being consistent, you're doing all this, what starts to happen is when you hit those exercises, the original muscle that's there starts to rip and break apart and pull apart. And as it rips more, the harder that you work it out, it ripping is now so that it can rebuild the new muscle. And so that's kind of like what happens in real life. You're at a certain frequency, you're vibrating at a certain state. You start making certain type of changes, and that ends up breaking down the old life in order to make new for the new things that's coming into your life. That's the part of the process. It's going to look like your world is falling apart because technically it actually is. It has to break down in order to make new for the new. When you were okay with your life being the way that it was, it seemed like there wasn't anything drastic or complicated trying to like keep you from living the mediocre lifestyle or the mediocre like life, the life where you didn't really care about how you were using your time or didn't really care about what kinds of things you were doing to yourself or to other people around you. When you didn't care about those things, it seemed like life was much more simpler. And then now that you're trying to better your life, now it seems like everything is amplified in a negative way. Which leads me to my next point. There are things that will start to happen that seem like they're working against you. And I know that you've probably experienced where you'll try to do something that you want or you just try to make something happen And sometimes it flows as if you have everything on your side to make it happen. And it's like now it feels like the complete opposite, where everything's working against you and you're just trying to better your life. What's going on the outside is things to try to make you return back and to revert back to the old you, to revert back to how you would have handled stress or how you would have handled certain things not working out a certain type of way. All of that hard work that you did to overcome that, now there's things that's going on to try to make you do that and to see if you're gonna fall back on it. When you weren't really concerned about the direction of your life and everything, and you would run into problems, they would be problems. But it was like when you felt like you were, let's just call the past self, like, okay, you were just going down a different direction, like a darker path. The types of obstacles that you would run into whenever it came to problems, it just seems different now than the way that the problems used to be back then. Now it kind of feels like, because it felt like back then you were comfortable, you know. And that being said, the problems were a lot less complicated because there were problems that you were used to dealing with at that time, considering the fact that you weren't doing anything to change your life. So whatever problems you were dealing with, it wasn't any problems that you just never had to deal with before. So it wasn't as uncomfortable as it is now that you were doing something that you've never done before, which is completely transforming your life. So now the issues that are arising, it's going to feel very, very uncomfortable and something you just have never dealt with before. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty with this, and it's like, but this is all a part of the process. This is all a part of the journey, and this video is just to bring clarification behind that. You are going to move through all of this, though. You're going to push through all of this. You're going to start to notice the changes. Just take that leap of faith. Don't run away from change now that it's here. You have been asking for your life to be different. You have been asking for a certain type of life. You have been wanting things to change in your life, and you're starting to notice that there's some things that are unraveling, you know, some things that might be a little on the difficult side, or things are starting to be a little like hard, you know, where challenges are starting to come into your life, and some of them are to test you, you know, to see if you are genuinely ready to actually live the type of life that you have been asking for, you know. If you resonated with anything I spoke about in this video, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that this video reaches someone who may also need to hear this message. Thank you and bye.